So we have been in practice for years. And before we formed a leadership team, and we've talked about forming leadership team uh, a lot, and that's why is because once we were at the point where we had learned about that and had decided to implement it, um, we immediately saw so many benefits to having a leadership team. But part of that was that on our leadership team, we had like someone from each like uh, department, and
job.
Yeah, so we had like
Yes,
we had an
RBTs.
RBT, we had BCBA, we had admin, we had our amazing, wonderful RBT who joined our leadership team and started to, I guess, become more privy of information that they wouldn't have had as a RBT. That was the learning experience for me to learn that there was a lot more that my techs really needed to understand about
gaps
how we ran our company and why we were asking them to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a big one. She sat there like almost with her, like, I swear her jaw was on the ground, and she was just like, I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, brilliant, smart lady who had been in the field for years and top-notch tech and amazing in person on our team. No, she was like, I didn't even think about this. I was just knew this is what we had to do because it's part of the job to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
No clue. And then I knew immediately that I had done my team a disservice. And so we made sure to, like, within like a week, we had, education out to the entire team about how important it is. I mean, you can go to jail, right? It's a lot. You could pay a lot of money. You could put the business at risk.
Yeah.
You could, you can go to jail.
Yeah.
And so these are severe. You could lose your license. I mean, these are just things that that a lot of people don't realize and don't think about. So it's really important, now of course don't go out there and scare your team, give them the support and the training that they need, but be real with them too and explain to them how important this really is. And it's not just because you're being a specific way about wanting something done. There are other reasons there too.
Let's leave this one to the last. Okay?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's just scare everyone and then we'll say, get one of these. Okay? We'll do this one.
So then internal audits, and this is, these all kind of play off of each other, right? So having, your own process set up of like how you're going to do your internal audits. Yes, we suggest, highly recommend doing these timesheet checks and doing all of these checks on the regular, having a way, however it is that you do it within your system, doing it on a regular basis before you even bill. But then also on a regular frequency, whether it be monthly or quarterly or yearly, you could have different variations of these internal audits to make sure that you have everything that you need.
So can I give you a scenario that I hear happens quite often?
Absolutely.
I've heard this too many times, but so no one's checking the session notes. BT quits. Then after the fact, they realize that for the last 3 weeks, not a single session note has been completed.
Guess what? You can't bill for that.
No. So, like, are you sure that if a BT quit, you would be able to get those session notes? Are you sure that they've completed the session notes?
What about your BCBA? What if your BCBA?
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Yeah, and so. Yeah. So this is like, I guess, the first question I ask when I'm helping someone set up the auditing system, right? Because it's just like that's the first step. You confidently say that all of your session notes are completed right now, and a lot of people like this is a pain point. This is a struggle that like my team just won't finish a session, and that's tough. What do we put in place to make it so that doesn't happen anymore? Like that is the first step. Is your team completing their sessions on
Well,
time?
that's the thing though, because I would be really curious to know how many of you could raise your hand right now to say that I know that my staff completes their session note within minutes of the session
Right.
ending that day, or at least completes it that day.
Right.
It was, yeah, it's so important. It's so easy. Like when I was a tech, when I was a BCABA, when I was with my own company
I
and had to do my own
when
session
you were doing
notes.
private pay billing, and I was the one doing it.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm getting behind this week. I'll catch up. Oh, and I have a 3-hour chunk on Friday morning that I'm not going to book any clients or meetings, and I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to knock out all of my session notes.
No.
Don't do that to yourself. And please be a good role model for your
And
staff.
so if you have 10, 15 RBTs now, you can't know. So you have to have a system, and that's step number 1 of this internal auditing system is that this doesn't happen anymore. Is we do our session notes on time.
And see, and on time should mean within
that day.
15 minutes of
Yes.
the session ending,
Yep.
really honestly.
You have
if you
to
would
give
be
your
real
staff.
about it.
You have to give your staff the time that is necessary to complete this note. Please do that.